All right, welcome back, everyone, for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at something that I think a lot of people can relate to,
Mm-hmm.
and that is the power of small habits.
Yeah.
And we've got some great excerpts here from the podcast, A 5-Minute Break,
Okay.
and they have a whole episode called The Power of Small Habits. And I think it's a really fascinating topic that we can all kind of dig into and see
Yeah.
what we can take away from it.
Yeah.
So first of all, I just want to say I really like the concept of the 5-Minute Break
Yeah.
podcast because it kind of embodies this idea
Right.
of small things adding up to something bigger.
Yeah.
They give you these small little bite-sized episodes, but they're about
Exactly.
these big concepts and
Yeah.
big ideas, and that's kind of like what small habits are, right?
Exactly. It's interesting because they're so short and to the point that it's almost like, are they really doing the topic justice by making it so simple?
Right. And that's something I was thinking
Yeah.
about too. Like,
Yeah.
okay, we all know Rome wasn't built in a day,
Right.
but is that really all there is to it?
Yeah. Is that all we need to know?
Is that enough
Yeah.
to really understand how habits work?
Right. And I think there's a lot more going on there. And I think the
Yeah.
science of habit formation is really interesting.
Okay.
Like when you think about it, every habit that we have, whether it's something, as small as brushing your teeth or
Mhm.
something as maybe not so good as, scrolling through social media, all of those things follow the same pattern called the habit loop.
Okay, so break that down for me. What exactly is a habit loop?
Yeah, so the habit loop basically is a 3-step process.
Okay.
The first step is what's called the cue.
Yeah.
And the cue is like a trigger.
Yeah.
It's something that initiates the behavior. And so that could be like a certain time of day. It could be an emotion that you're feeling. It could even be a specific location that you're in.
Yeah.
The second step is the routine,
Okay.
which is basically the behavior itself, whatever it is that you're doing. And then the third step is the reward. And that's that positive reinforcement that strengthens the habit.
Okay.
And so that reward can be all sorts of things. It can be, a feeling of pleasure. It can be a sense of accomplishment. It can even just be like the relief of stress. So if you think about something that the 5-minute break talks about is, like drinking water in the morning
Right.
or reading a page a day.
Yeah.
If you're using that habit loop framework,
Mhm.
like with the water, the cue could be waking up.
Okay.
The routine is actually drinking the water.
Mhm.
And then the reward could be, feeling hydrated, feeling ready to start the day.
Right.
Whatever that is for you.
So essentially, it's just
Yeah.
getting that repetition.
It's the consistency.
Right.
That's really the key. The more you repeat that loop,
Yeah.
the stronger those neural pathways in your brain become.
Right.
And eventually that behavior becomes so automatic
Yeah.
that you don't even have to think about it anymore. It's pretty fascinating how our brains are wired for efficiency like that.
Right. It's almost like it doesn't want to
Exactly.
waste time thinking about the small
It
things.
wants to free up space for other things.
Exactly. And just do it for you.
Yeah.
So that's a powerful concept when you think about it.
Yeah.
And I think, the 5-minute break really emphasizes these small wins.
Yeah.
And how that feeling of accomplishment, even from these tiny habits,
Yeah.
can really motivate you to keep going.
Absolutely. And I think there's a lot of truth to that.
Yeah.
But I also think it's important to acknowledge that, there can be a downside to only focusing on the small things,
Okay.
because if you're only ever focusing on these small habits, it can sometimes create almost like a ceiling
Okay.
for your growth. There are times when we need to embrace discomfort
And take bigger leaps.
and challenge ourselves,
Right.
And if you think about it, like, if you're only ever reading 1 page a day, you might never actually finish that book
Right.
you've been wanting to read.
That's a great point.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like you need that balance.
Yeah, I think it's about balance.
You need the consistency,
Exactly.
but you also need that ambition.
You need the small habits as the foundation.
Mhm.
They provide the stability and the
Mhm.
discipline
Yeah.
that's needed for long-term growth. But then you also need to be willing to break out of that loop sometimes
Yeah.
and challenge yourself
Right.
and take a risk.
Absolutely. Well, this has given me a lot to think about. And I
Yeah.
think it's interesting how, these seemingly small, insignificant actions
Mm-hmm.
can really have such a profound impact on our lives.
For sure.
So as you reflect on your own habits, is there one small change you could make that would build towards a larger goal? Or maybe on the other side, are there any habits that you've developed up might actually be holding you back?
That's a good question.
Yeah. I think that's something worth considering.
Yeah, definitely.
All right. that's all the time we have for today, but
Yeah,
it's been great
it has.
talking about this
Yeah,
really fascinating topic.
absolutely.
We'll see you next time.
See ya.